What if the biggest reason someone loses interest isn't what you say, but what your body silently communicates? Most people spend years trying to find the perfect words, the perfect text, the perfect pickup line, believing that's what creates attraction. But what if the real answer has almost nothing to do with words? What if your eyes, your smile, the way you listen, the way you respect someone's personal space are already telling your story long before you ever speak? And here's something fascinating. Modern psychology shows that nonverbal communication plays a major role in building trust, comfort, and emotional connection, which means you could be saying everything right while silently communicating everything wrong. So today, we're exploring timeless relationship principles inspired by the original Kama Sutra. Not manipulation, not secret tricks, not games, but subtle human behaviors that can strengthen genuine emotional connection. And stay with me until the end. Because the final lesson is the one most people completely overlook. Yet it may be the single biggest reason why healthy relationships succeed or quietly fall apart. Let's begin. 1. Love often begins before words. One of the most interesting ideas found in the Kama Sutra is that attraction rarely starts with conversation. It often begins with attention, with curiosity, with presence. Before two people exchange meaningful words, they're already observing each other, how they behave, how they treat others, whether they seem calm, kind, respectful, or emotionally unavailable. Sometimes, your presence introduces you before your voice ever can. 2. Your eyes speak first. Have you ever noticed? Some people make you feel comfortable just by looking at you, not because they stare, but because they are fully present. Eye contact isn't about trying to impress someone. It's about showing genuine attention. When someone feels heard, seen, and respected, trust begins to grow naturally. But there's an important difference. Confident eye contact invites connection. Uncomfortable staring creates distance. The goal is never intensity. The goal is comfort. 3. The smile that changes everything. Now think about the last person who instantly made you feel relaxed. Chances are, they smiled. Not the forced smile people use out of politeness, but the genuine one. The smile that reaches the eyes. A real smile tells people, I'm happy you're here. It lowers tension, creates warmth, and makes conversations feel effortless. People rarely remember every sentence you said, but they'll often remember how your presence made them feel. 4. Small gestures matter more than grand gestures. Movies teach us to believe that love is built through dramatic moments. Grand surprises, expensive gifts, perfect speeches. Real life is different. Relationships are usually built through small moments repeated consistently. Listening without interrupting, remembering little details, offering encouragement, being emotionally available. These quiet gestures often create far deeper connections than dramatic displays ever could. Sometimes, the smallest action carries the greatest meaning. 5. Affection requires comfort. The Kama Sutra also reminds us that affection should never feel forced, whether it's a handshake, a hug, or any form of closeness. Its value comes from one thing: mutual comfort. Affection isn't about crossing someone's boundaries. It's about recognizing them. The healthiest relationships grow because both people feel emotionally safe. Respect creates closeness. Pressure destroys it. 6. Pay attention before moving forward. Many people rush relationships. They assume interest. They ignore hesitation. Then they wonder why things suddenly change. The wiser approach is simple. Observe. Listen. Notice whether the other person enjoys spending time with you. Do they willingly continue the conversation? Do they ask questions? Do they seem relaxed? Healthy relationships move forward naturally. They don't need to be forced. When interest is mutual, progress feels effortless. 7. Not everyone shows feelings the same way. This may be one of the most misunderstood parts of human psychology. Some people express excitement immediately. Others become quiet. Some laugh when they're nervous. Others avoid eye contact because they're shy, not because they're uninterested. That's why assumptions can be dangerous. Instead of trying to read one single signal, look for consistent patterns over time. Patience reveals far more than quick conclusions ever will. 8. Playfulness creates emotional connection. Relationships aren't built only through serious conversations. They're also built through laughter, gentle humor, shared experiences, funny memories. Playfulness creates emotional safety. It reminds both people that being together feels enjoyable. People naturally become closer to those who make them feel relaxed, not exhausted. Sometimes, the best conversations are the ones where nobody is trying to impress anyone. 9. The lesson that changes everything. Remember the promise I made at the beginning? Here's the final lesson. Perhaps the most timeless idea connected with these teachings is respect. Real attraction can never replace respect. Real affection can never replace consent. Real connection can never replace trust. Without these, nothing meaningful can last. Healthy relationships aren't built by convincing someone to like you. They're built when two people freely choose to understand, support, and respect each other. That's what transforms attraction into lasting connection. Conclusion. So, what does the original Kama Sutra really teach us? Not that love depends on perfect words, not that attraction follows magical formulas, and certainly not that relationships can be controlled. Instead, it reminds us that genuine connection grows from simple human qualities: presence, kindness, patience, playfulness, emotional awareness, and above all, mutual respect. Because in the end, people may forget your words. They may even forget the moment you first met, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. If you enjoyed discovering the psychology behind ancient relationship wisdom, subscribe for more timeless lessons where history meets modern psychology, one chapter at a time.